I've had dreams of that, man. That's a place. On top of the mountain.
All right. So we did our Qigong. Did anybody want to tell about their experience? Them going into different positions. That's the standing like a tree Qigong. You felt just like how the trees feel in one position, but they're grabbing in all that pranic energy, both day and night. And the more you practice things like that, now this is the big one, where we had our hands up like this. How did y'all feel that one?
Great.
In the hands, in the shoulders, the tension. And the more you practice that, the more you'll be able to stand up here longer. That's how you know you're getting energetically stronger, like you're lifting weights. That's why they show you that statue Atlas. Atlas is holding up the world on his hands, but that's talking about he's holding up the same energy that holds up the world. So you're working with these forces. That's the strong man. See, there's one thing about lifting physical weights, we know that. But when you start working with the energy, you're growing a bodybuilding energy body. It's an energy body that's strengthened more than the average person. So that was the strong man, those symbology. He can hold his hands up here a long time because the energy is flowing. And even when you deal with martial arts like Kung Fu and stuff, the person that has the higher energy is the best martial artist. It ain't got nothing to do with the physical body who lift more weights. Not only you learn the techniques, and then they get to the point when two masters are about to fight, they feel each other's energy. And if you can feel somebody's energy coming off their body, don't even fight them. They'll walk away and say, you won. That means they put some time and energy to get like that. It just didn't happen. Or they got a good energy, you sitting there at McDonald's. Now, we ain't talking about that because you smiling at everybody and you nice. We talk about some power.
Some of the stuff you say really resonates. That's like
Yeah, it's down to earth. We think, oh, they got good energy. Okay, they wave. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about a force that we developed. It was subtle. But the more and more you deal with something subtle, it gets stronger. That's why we're addicted to some stuff now. It started subtle. I just ate the chocolate cake. Then after that, you can't get it let alone. You got 2 pieces. Now you're eating the whole cake. Started subtle, but now it got bigger. Now it's a problem. That's what happens. All energy works that way, whether if it's negative or positive. That's why in anything you learn is repetition. Repetition, to become a piano, learn music, repetition, you become better. So when you're dealing back with these practices, running energy through the body, repetition is going to do it. Especially if you want to live on prana. I don't see why people are playing with this. Maybe if I just put tape on my mouth and I stop eating, I'm going to live off prana. Where's your brain going to get the energy from? It don't make sense, do it? But then they wonder why they're losing too much weight, then they die. People do die. Starvation. And all the brain is saying, and the body ain't do nothing wrong. The body is saying, I'm carrying out the last program you gave me. You told me if we don't eat, I'm going to die. So I did the best I could to carry out your wishes. That's what it did. It ain't do nothing wrong. So now that's why we got to reprogram it. To say, I want you to do something differently. Oh, I got it. Once it get the memo, it got it. It don't even need you. That's why we was doing the Qigong. The one sister over here said, your thoughts was going everywhere. It didn't stop the energy going in your body, did it? You felt it in your hands, felt it going in the body. It don't care what you're thinking. It just need to set up in the right position so it could work. The thoughts will cool itself down later. We call that the monkey mind. All over the place.
mind chatter.
Mind chatter.
Call it mind chatter.
But this is where we at now. So now there's a thing that we learned. We see all of these great pictures of in religion and spirituality with the halo. People with halos on their head, or we see them with these light bodies. We see all these pictures all over the place. Look beautiful, don't it? Carlos got some all on his walls. I was looking at them this morning. Huh. But is these just pictures or are they real? It's real. But the average, for her to say that, you've been in this energy world. She see it. She know it's real. And some people say she's crazy. What you mean? Why don't I see it? She can see it. Some people can see that. Or you could train yourself to see it. But it's there. It's every bit as real. And luckily we live in a good age now. This is why Breatharianism is easy to teach. 20 years ago it was harder. 30 years ago it would have been even harder. Why? Why? We at least got equipment and computers and technology that can show people the energy field that comes off of people's bodies. Finally. Now this is easy to teach. If they don't see that, I'm talking to an idiot. They crazy. That's what we talk about. And it changes itself. Everything we put in our body, our thought process, it shifts. So now we're working with something tangible. But the ancients had it on key. Look at the definitions they say what a halo is. Now listen at this.
Halo, a disc or circle of light shown surrounding or above the head of a saint or holy person to show their holiness.
Now listen at that. It's a circle of light or a disc circled around a person's head, all right, that's glowing. So that's where they get those pictures from. But they use the word around a saint or a holy person. See, we even made those words scary. We did. I tell people I'm a saint, they be like, no, you ain't.
Yes, you are.
You ain't in the... Right. A saint or an ain't. Right. And it's thing about it, in a holy person, that's where they get that word holistic from. It's a person who lives in a holistic lifestyle. It's a holy person. So it's good that you're thinking about at least herbs, breathing clean air, connecting to the earth. That's a holy person. That ain't far-fetched. That's why there's a glow that comes off of their aura. They ain't eating Twinkies and, all this other stuff, junk. They holy. Everything's connected. An energetic connection. And then the saint, what is a saint? Now they got a term in religion called sin. We all heard of that. Let's take the spookiness out of it. The definition is the transgression of universal laws. So a saint is a person who stopped transgressing against universal laws. That's all it is. Right.
Someone who's in alignment.
Someone who's in alignment. It makes sense now, so we don't need to go get a membership at the church. All you got to do is come in alignment. We know what it means now. And then that's what they say you got a halo. It's the result of it. You live that type of lifestyle in alignment or being holistic, you're going to have a glow around you.
Yes.
You got you a halo. You're a little angel.
And a saint.
And a saint. And a Buddha, a Christ.
And a Christ consciousness.
All this stuff. The Babaji.
Yeah, and the source.
And the source.
And the oneness.
And the oneness.
And the allness.
She's saying it all, ain't she?
The I am.
You are the I am.
Right. Now listen at some of the other definitions that come along with it. Listen at this.
Aura.
Aura. Now that was the word they used to use, aura. Now today, they're using the same words. Don't let science fool you. They ain't make nothing up new. They just call it electromagnetism. Everybody has an electromagnetic field to come off their body.
Yes.
All physical matter does. That pole ain't even alive, got an electromagnetic field coming off of it. This ain't spooky no more. We got to learn what these is. So now when you talk about breatharianism, but people start, what are you talking about? You can sit them down and educate them. You can be real with them with a straight look on your face.
Yeah. They're going to look like
Right.
crazy.
So now, read some of those words. Aura, let's get the other word.
Glory.
Glory.
Corona.
Corona. Corona of the eyes, corona of the earth.
Corona is the crown.
The crown. It makes sense now. What else words they got?
Disc,
A disc
radiance,
and radiance. Now, Egypt, they said the sun is Ra. That's where they get the word radiance, radio, radiate. Using the same, you're in Egypt. It never left. One civilization that passed away, we think another one just came. No, they're on top of each other. The former knowledge is still here. That's why I'm living in my perception in the Breatharian world. This is what they was talking about. It never left. It always been here. It's just the people's perceptions changed with the times. And all we're doing is bringing the perceptions back because they can't leave. You're the artifact. You're the one that we picked up that had to wipe off. Your ancestors already in you. You've been here for a long time. Thousands of years. Millions. Oh, man. Now listen to that definition number 2, a halo.
a circle of white or colored light around the sun, moon, or other luminous body caused by refraction through the ice crystals in the atmosphere.
Now listen at that. A luminous, something that's illuminated, we're talking about the same thing. They said around the sun, around the moon, or any luminous object. So we got an electromagnetic field around us. Talk about us again. You come in attunement, you're going to glow more. Everybody's giving off light if they're living, walking around. Just some lights are more dimmer than others. Does that make sense? I know you always met somebody who, the lights was on and nobody was home. Hello?
Oh my God.
You run into them every once in a while.
Knock, knock.
What a character. Hello?
No answer.
Now, let's go to the next. Oh, you're on there. Now, they talk about this electromagnetic field. That's two words put together. Electro, which is electricity, and magnetism. Here we go again. They're using words that's in the past, but they're just bringing it up like they created something new. The El, the EL, they talk about the Elohim in the scriptures. That's where they get the word electricity from. They ain't make nothing else new. And then magnetism. They say that's the female, the moon, Mary Magdalene. It all makes sense now. So they put them back together because through science, the higher the electricity of something, the higher the magnetism. The higher the magnetism, the higher the electricity. That's why they put the two fields of thought together. Is this making sense now? So if you got an electromagnetic field, both male and female, it don't matter who you are, you both got the field. Now the females carry more of the magnetism, we do say that because our energies run differently. But the higher she works on her magnetism, automatically the electricity kicks on. And the male vice versa, because he gives off a germ cell called the sperm, the higher his electricity, the higher the magnetism. They both equal out at the end of the day. Is this making sense? So now we both carrying this electromagnetic field. But we want to make it bigger so we can have a halo. That's how you're going to become a Breatharian. You need a halo.
Light body, light body.
A light body.
You need a light body.
Which this is already light, so you got it to work with. Any physicists on the planet right now, they won't say you crazy. Well, this does work with electricity. This is a light body. Right now, the average person is just frozen. It's frozen light. All we're doing is melting it. What was we doing to Qigong? Nice and relaxed. The more you learn to relax, the easier the energy start flowing. Automatically, you're relaxing, getting off stress. Stress is the enemy of a saint. Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
It takes your light, is that what you're saying?
It takes your light. Right. And the more you start loosening up stress, it brings back your light. So you ain't stuck in one direction. You can loosen it up and turn the lights on brighter. Day in and out. Every day we what? Ascending or descending. That's another word we use. Now let's learn what electromagnetism is.
An electromagnetic field, sometimes referred to as an EM field, is generated when charged particles such as electrons are accelerated.
Now an electromagnetic field is a field that's created by an object when the electrons, look at that word, And in the scriptures, they use the word Elohim, El. Y'all ever heard of that? Yeah. E-L, electricity. The electron. That's all it's talking about. And when an electron or charged particles that's all in the atmosphere, when they're charged up, that creates an electromagnetic field. Now, we got charged particles all in our body. We could take our blood, the hemoglobin. What it got on it? Copper. And I think the plant's chlorophyll got magnesium. That attracts electricity to it. It's metal. It's in you. I ain't spooky, is it? It's a charged particle. When we were just doing our Qigong, what was that feeling? Where you feel different? That's electricity. Electrons coming through this charged particle. We're carbon-based beings, right? Carbon is a good conductor of energy. What is a conductor? Anything that electrons can pass through easily. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
This is a given. Electrons pass through us easily.
Isn't the glands made of carbon?
Yeah.
They are, right?
Carbon-based beings.
Yeah.
And carbon, what is other forms of carbon? Coal. That's trapped sunlight. That's why they barbecuing down there now with carbon. Make a fire. They don't even know what we're talking about. We're talking high knowledge.
Even the bras they put in front of the cars, they make them out of carbon. So when they shoot the radar gun, it so absorbs it, you can't send the signal back.
Right. Listen at him.
What'd you say, Carlos?
Carbon fiber bra on the car, the black ones, it absorbs the energy from the radar gun so it doesn't bounce back and give them a reading.
The carbon fiber of cars will absorb the radar so it won't go back so they'll get a ticket. See, external technology is telling you about yourself. They made the car engine because they copied off your intestines. You put the fuel in here and the gas come out this way.
Well, the gas goes in here and the exhaust goes out.
Yeah, the exhaust come out here. Right. The camera's made off of your eye.
Yes.
All the sound technology. This is sound we're dealing with. Chanting, we're bringing a vibration through the body, breaking up blockages. So don't let external technology fool you like that's some high stuff. This is the best technology you have access to, which is your body. This is it. So if they could take a cell phone, now this, when the phones first came out, first of all, this ain't a phone. This is a computer. Let's get it straight. But when the phone first got made, what, you remember those movies where it was cranking up?
Yeah.
And then I grew up where we had the zzz, zzz, then it came,
Rotary.
rotary, then it came out with the buttons, they were still all plugged up into the wall. Now we got this computer walking around with us, but guess what? We still got to go plug it in somewhere. This ain't got nothing on you. Absolutely not. We can what? That's why we go to sleep, to charge up. You're the first wireless technology. That's the only reason why you go to sleep. And you can eradicate that. You go to sleep to heal, to regenerate. And what is sleep? Unconscious meditation. Your body's already made to meditate. That's what it did. It said, I got to go charge up. And if you don't sit it down, it'll sit you down. Have you ever had a busy schedule where your body said, not today? It don't matter what you're doing. You're all like this. You better go ahead and get some sleep.
That's the best way to meditate, though.
Yeah, it is.
When you're in an unconscious state, your subconscious kicks in,
It all kicks in.
and then your soul receives it.
Absolutely.
You know, I do security, all kinds of cameras. And we're so advanced right now, the physical body.
Right.
Because right now, I'm looking at this grass here, and I look up at the mountain, everything's focused from here to there. And even with the $18,000 camera, you have to go and then zoom it in over there. For the
Right.
here. We're way ahead.
Look what Carlos just said. We're way advanced in the, he works in a security place, way advanced in that computer technology. And at one time I was doing a video, my phone went out because it couldn't take the sun.
Yeah.
But my body didn't give out, it loved the sun.
Yep.
It gave out. So we gotta stop giving all this credit to external things and come back home. It ain't got nothing on you. Why you gonna sell yourself out for a TV? The entertainment is free. All you gotta do is go talk to yourself like you usually do.
You can't
Hey, what are you
master
doing?
yourself, right?
Nothing, man.
Nothing. I'm just sitting here bored.
Let's go up, man.
You can't master yourself from the external. There's no
You
way.
can't master yourself from the external. I love that.
It's not an external fight.
So the electromagnetic field is created by charged particles like the electrons. Now keep reading that electromagnetic field.
It's also an invisible area of energy often referred to as radiation.
It's an invisible. That's what hurts people. This is why everybody was blind. Okay, you can't see it with your eyes. It's an invisible field of energy. And what did it say?
Often referred to as radiation.
Also referred to as radiation. Listen at that word. Ra. Remember the Egyptians said Ra's the sun? Radiation comes from Ra. That's a signal. Now the sun, hands down, affects all life on the planet directly or indirectly. We might as well get over it. It's tough, ain't it? It's a heartbreaker for some people. No, it's going to take away the God I already got. We ain't trying to say that. All we trying to say is what we're talking about now, this radiation. We're dealing hand in hand with the radiation. Now, there's harmful radiation. Don't be scared of the word. And there's radiation that gives us life. That's what they're saying. But it's invisible. That's what we're doing. We're radiating ourselves. We live in it. You can't get away with it. And the thing about it is, this is why the new saying is, the older you get, the longer you live. No, the older you get, the more energy you have. Now, why would we boldly say that? The longer you stay in this realm, the more radiated you get. So your energy is higher. It's just that the people in the past don't go off of them. No, I seen them get old. They ain't had that much energy. Well, they didn't have the lifestyle that went along with it. This is why we're changing the ball game. Every year you get more and more radiated. So at the end of the year, you're going to have more radiation than the year before. So you start getting in these spiritual practices of meditation like we said. You guaranteed the food sooner or later become food free. Did I say that? Yep. You're dealing with energy. You're going to grow regardless. And you don't even need to know this lifestyle. The average person was already growing in the radiation. They didn't know it. But the skin couldn't keep up and start sagging because it's toxic.
So let's bring it to an electrical. I'll bring it to electrical. You got an electrical outlet and you got a blockage there. The electricity is not flowing. Eventually you're going to catch in a fire. That fire is the disease that people got that's not moving through their body because they got the obstructions in their body.
Listen what he just said. Let's make sense out of it now. Now the ancients wrote about this. I'm going to show you where. He said, because he works with electronics, electrical circuit, if it get blocked up, if you don't remove it, it'll catch a fire. But we relate it as, if there's an electrical circuit within us, it'll start showing up as a pain or a disease. That's what we mean by a blockage. But that's the fire. See, this is what they told you. They showed us this picture where somebody was in hell. They was getting burnt by the fire. It was pitch by a pitchfork. So a person that's living a life with pains all around them, they living in hell. The Pope got up one day. Not this Pope, it was one of the popes. He gave a speech and people got mad at him. He said, hell isn't a place, it's a state of consciousness. That means people living in hell right now, if you got aches and pains, you're being burned. Because the electricity is backed up. It caught a fire.
Chi blockage. It's a chi blockage.
Right, a chi blockage. A prana blockage. And you can live in heaven, which is freed up, a freed up flow. Let's make sense of it now.
Good radiation, bad radiation, good food, not good food.
Right. Same thing, because everything's energy. How are we using them? Good person, bad person, the energy that's coming from them. And that's all dealing with blockages. So the bad part, we're not saying that we're looking at the universe as being negative. It's just it's out of harmony. You can balance it out. You can straighten it out. That's why Wu Wei, when I told you I live a life of Wu Wei doing nothing, that just means I avoid stressful situations and I look for a more natural way so my energy can flow better. That's what it is. That's action and no action. And that's work within itself. That's the great work. All we're doing is transfer.
If you don't use a lot of energy, if you do the Wu Wei thing, then basically you also don't harm the body, and then the body can become 200-300 years old, right?
Absolutely. Now listen. Go ahead.
So it becomes efficient.
Absolutely. Listen at this. This ain't far-fetched no more. She said if you don't use a lot of energy, the body can live for 200 to 300 years old, and it becomes a lot more energy efficient. With no
because
blockages.
there's no obstructions, it doesn't create any fires, then it should be...
Listen at this now. Now wait a minute. Let's back up because we talk about longevity and mortality. They've been saying in the scriptures, but everybody say, nah, everybody got to die. Well, we ain't talking that now.
What a waste of energy, reincarnation. What a waste.
What a waste.
Finally, you get 75 years old or something, and you become a little bit loving. Then you get Alzheimer's, die, and then get back into
So you catch Alzheimer's, you forget how to love. So what's the use? You forgot anyway.
Right. Yeah, but they used to live 800, 900, over 1,000 years, 1,200 years. And, you know, it's in the Bible, not that I'm quoting that as gospel, but people used to live 800, 900, 600, 500 years.
Now let's go back.
All throughout history.
The person who got the halo. We just read it, right?
Yeah.
That was a saint, a person who didn't sin, didn't transgress against universal laws. That was a holy person, a holistic person, close to nature. They know their nature. Of course you ain't supposed to die. Now listen, they just found a tree in North Carolina that's 2,600 years old. Now listen at that now. How did it reach that far? Well, for number one, I'll tell you. They found it near a swamp, good habitat. It was around no people, so of course it's going to live 2,600 years old.
Didn't pay taxes.
Didn't pay taxes. Didn't have to pay for a house to stay.
They didn't have no stress.
Didn't have no stress.
No cell phone towers.
Because I did one video where I say you got to go see it. And I said, no, don't even go see it. Leave it alone.
Yeah,
They'll ruin it.
Just leave it alone so it can keep living. And then the trees around it was all over 1,000. Now, do those trees got an expiration date on it? No, they could keep on going continually. They're in the right habitat. That's all the scientists kept saying. They're in the right habitat. They wasn't messed with. So the human being, likewise, the breatharian journey is you're learning to put yourself back in the right habitat. Leave the stress alone. But that gives you life. No, it don't. It's going to take away your life. I mean that. Whoa. I got a lot more energy now than ever just by leaving things alone.
electronics, this one component that's in all electronics, and without that it doesn't work.
Say that again.
In electronics, there's one component in every electronics, phone, whatever it is, and without that it doesn't work. That's the main component.
Go for it.
Quartz,
Quartz.
pineal gland.
The pineal gland.
Activated. Can't work anything without it.
Here we go. He said electronics, there's a component that you don't have that component, it won't work. So now, he said the pineal gland. See, I'm glad he's here to say this because we're looking at the body now differently than before. It's a biological machine. It's a biological computer. So he said you need a quartz crystal, all right? And ours is the pineal gland. That's why in the ancient writings again, not only they showed us halos, they always had a serpent coming up the spinal cord or the pole, whatever you want to say. It's coming upwards and it comes out through the third eye. The pharaohs had the serpent coming out here. And what? India, Shiva and Shakti, two serpents. Then they got Adam and Eve coming together, all dealing with the tree. They all talk about the same thing.
She ate an apple.
Yeah, she ate the apple.
That's why there was the fall.
That's a whole nother ball game. Right.
Hey, Tom, does the serpent represent the sexual energy?
I'm glad he brought that up. Now, in schematics, a serpent do move like this if you ever see a snake move.
Yeah.
And then when you're dealing with electronics, they got, what, the sin wave. So they all talk about the same thing. Those are schematics, as we could say. Like when I was a radioman in the Navy, instead of writing out a system we had to make, you know, you get the amplifier, the transceiver. Instead of writing out all those words, you just write a picture of the equipment. So you'll write a wave that this is what you need that would represent this. So that's what people got to understand. Your hieroglyphics are a language of a schematics. We're just bringing it back down to earth now. And since Carlos is working with electronics and stuff like this, they ain't using nothing new. See, when you look at your light that come on in the house, that's a spirit. They had to get the right components for it to come on. You're working with that same light. It ain't no difference. The same source to fuel up our cell phones and everything else. That's what we're working with. Nothing different. It's just another piece of equipment. But we was damaging the equipment through lack of knowledge, through ignorance. And we kept going to fossil fuels. Now, what superpowers talking about now? Going green, ain't they? We need to go to other sources of energy that won't create that much pollution. Fossil fuels create pollution. Now, that's what we're dealing with. Toxic people, toxic vessels. How do they get like that? They keep dealing with the lower fossil fuels. You don't need to be stuck on fossil fuels. Is this making sense? Man.
I got another question with the sex thing. Is celibacy necessary to become a breatharian?
We'll get into that. That's a whole nother chapter.
Okay.
That'll open up 5 days.
Oh, man.
We might as well camp here. You got time? Right.
But the sine wave has a middle in the middle, and then it goes down and across. But it always goes down that middle. That middle is the spirit.
Here we go. And don't we got a middle in us?
And you have two sides. They call it the positive and negative, but it doesn't matter in AC because it doesn't really matter. So you're combining the male energy on the left side and the lady energy on the second side
Right.
together.
See, we use these terms, male and female energy, Adam and Eve, Shiva and Shakti. But just going back to the basics of a house. You take a plug. This is the male end. Put it into the female end so they can connect and the light come on. That's how we was born. It took a male and a female, didn't it? Lodi, if you came in some other way, you got the umbilical cord, you lying. You attached up to your mama.
Bird up, y'all.
Right. So sexual energy